Kia ora. This is John Winters, Supermarket Sleuth, talking to you once more from Auckland. And what are we looking at this week? The effect that the pandemic has had on supermarket sales in the UK. How has the pandemic affected supermarket sales in the United Kingdom? We take a look at the 4-week period up to the 12th of July. People working from home are having an impact through keeping themselves fed while on the job. Supermarket sales have risen £3.2 billion to a new record high as people working from home stocked up on tea, coffee and biscuits. Grocery sales for the 12 weeks shot up by 16.9% to £31.6 billion, the fastest increase since records began in 1994. Those working from home spent an extra £24 million on tea and coffee and £10 million on biscuits. Wow, that's a lot of biscuits. Alcohol was the fastest growing category, up 41%, followed by frozen food, which grew 22%. So were they having a beer or two or the odd glass of wine while hard at work? Wonder what impact that had on the work they turned out. Don't think that I'd like to follow that sort of strategy. But over that period, shoppers seemed to be returning to normal habits as sales slowed to 14.6%. Kantar's monthly supermarket market share figures showed the reopening of pubs and restaurants affected momentum for the food chains, slowing sales growth. And it seems, despite so much focus on the pandemic, the British government has still found time to worry about the overall health of the nation. It's announced major restrictions on how unhealthy food is sold, including bans on advertising and in-store promotions. The measures to tackle the growing obesity crisis in the UK are expected to be far-reaching. The plans have been spearheaded by Boris Johnson, who has himself been shedding some of his weight following his COVID-19 scare. They include bans on online advertising of unhealthy foods, a pre-9 p.m. watershed on television adverts, and tight curbs on supermarket promotions. Which goes to prove that every cloud does have a silver lining. When the focus on obesity and getting rid of plastic has taken a back seat in people's thinking over the last few months, it looks as though it's about to make a comeback, at least in the UK. Latest Kantar figures show shoppers continue to enjoy fresh cream, it remaining the fastest growing category over the 12-week period to mid-June. Well, that's not going to help you to lose weight, is it? Sales grew 39.9% as dessert occasions proved to be popular among older demographics. And eggs have now surpassed butter as the second fastest growing category, growing 35.8%, with the latter up by 30.8% over the 12 weeks. Kantar said this was due to the number and type of occasions which have moved in-home as shoppers continued baking and eating more breakfasts and lunches there. Well, they would if they're working from home. You've got more time to spend eating breakfast, haven't you? You haven't got to rush for a bus or a train or get into the queue to get on the motorway. Base dairy sales continue to grow ahead of promoted sales and recorded even faster growth seen in the most recent period. Full price sales were up 28% compared to last year as promotional spend reduced by 3%, a decline of £22 million. This step back in promotional activity is down to volume deals which have fallen 18%, mainly through yoghurt and milk. During the 4 weeks to the 12th of July, data from Kantar shows that despite the economic downturn, branded goods are outperforming own-label alternatives, while promotional activity is picking up. Says Kantar, even with the uncertainty that many consumers are facing, branded goods, which are typically more expensive, are outperforming cheaper own-label alternatives and grew sales 20% this period. In fact, it's the number one brands in each category that are typically winning from rivals. Of own brand products, it's the more premium lines such as Tesco Finest or Sainsbury's Taste the Difference growing fastest. It seems shoppers are looking for small ways to treat themselves at home. Now that's an interesting development. I would have expected, with many people losing jobs and money during lockdown when they were unable to go to work, that own labour would have been chosen as cheaper alternatives to national brands. But it seems that's not the case. Could this be the start of a resurgence of national brands and the falling of popularity of store brands? Time will tell. In fact, what I'm going to do next week, I'm going to discuss store brands or own label or private label, whatever it's called in your country, and just look at how this all began, where it's come from and where it's going. Now, here's an interesting development that I didn't see coming. In fact, I wouldn't have considered it viable. I would have thought the own brands were reaping it home, but it looks as though my thinking was wrong. So anyway, let's talk about it next week. Tesco's taking part in trials on something that I didn't see coming either. It's a new scheme for online shoppers who, if it's successful, will be able to buy leading food, household cleaning and toiletry brands in reusable containers delivered to their door. Once used, they're collected and sanitised to be refilled. The supermarket has joined forces with zero-waste shopping platform Loop to plot a scheme that has the potential to significantly cut down on plastic waste and other single-use packaging. It'll cover 150 products from brands including Heinz, Danone, Coca-Cola, Molton Brown, Nivea and Persil. Customers can apply for the service on the Loop website. They'll then be able to order products in reusable containers for which they pay a refundable deposit. The products are delivered in a reusable Loop bag by a courier who also collects the containers when they're empty. Shoppers can also drop them off at one of 2,500 DPD collection points across the UK, and it's DPD is the courier company that's delivering them. I applaud the reduction in single-use containers, but I'm not so confident about the hygiene side. It'll be interesting to see how this trial goes. Now, finally, in the UK, it looks as though the imminent depression following the pandemic is likely to lead to an escalation of the price war between Tesco, Aldi and Lidl. The UK's largest supermarket group has been talking to suppliers to ramp up its EDLP, which is Everyday Low Prices strategy, on both branded and own brand goods. It's the old story. If you can't beat them, join them. A report in trade magazine The Grocer says Tesco has told branded suppliers they will be expected to match Aldi's prices as part of a renewed drive to enhance its competitiveness. With Aldi carrying only a limited range of brands, suppliers also told The Grocer they expected others like Lidl, B&M and Home Bargains to be considered in its negotiations. The Tesco plan will see it stop normal promotional activity, switching to driving all promotions through its Club Card loyalty scheme, making them exclusive to the 19 million members. I can't see this strategy working, as people still love going into the German discounters to grab their one-off bargains in the centre aisle, something that Tesco copied with its Jack's store. So, well, we'll see. We can always be proved wrong, but I have my doubts. Now, we zoom down to Australia to discover that Coles, the second largest supermarket chain store behind Woolworths, is on a mission. It's diverted more than 1 billion pieces of soft plastic from landfill in its mission to become Australia's most sustainable supermarket. Since 2011, Coles has worked with its partners Red Cycle to recycle plastic bags and soft plastic packaging. These have included biscuit packets, lolly bags in Australia and New Zealand. Lollies are sweets. So for you in the UK, we're talking about sweet bags. Frozen food bags and bread, rice and pasta bags, which can't be recycled through most curbside recycling services. A primary school in South Australia has received a bench made from recycled soft plastics as a result of the programme. The programme now collects an average of 121 tonnes or 30 million pieces of plastic every month. Customers return the 1 billionth piece of plastic to the red cycle bins at Coles in June. Wow, that's a lot of plastic. And it's a lot of plastic that's not going into the sea. And that's a good thing. The milestone coincides with Coles' first Sustainability Week as a publicly owned company since it left the Wesfarmers Group, and aligns with its strategic objective to become Australia's most sustainable supermarket. I'm going to pop in an interesting development in the United States here, reflecting how the supermarket industry and IT are getting even closer together. Walmart has joined forces with Yahoo Mail to launch a service that lets consumers buy items for home delivery directly from their email inbox. The groceries from Walmart's organisation, the groceries from Walmart organisation sends Yahoo Mail users an email with a range of personalised grocery recommendations, obviously based upon what they usually buy. When these are opened, it allows users to browse items, add them to their cart and pay for them without leaving their email browser on their phone or desktop computer. Around 25% of US citizens use Yahoo Mail. Wow. Which is now available in more than 40 countries and has 200 million active monthly users. Where will these IT developments stop? Or will they continue to make supermarket shopping even more sophisticated? And in the end, will we just not bother to go to supermarkets, the bricks and mortar ones, but do it all online and sit there and hardly move? I'm not so sure that this is really a great development. It'll be good for some, but I still think it's good exercise walking around the supermarket, and a lot of people don't get any more exercise than that. So let's not see the demise of the bricks and mortar stores. I like going in, and I'm a feely touchy person with things, and I like to pick them up if it's fruit and have a look at it, or pineapples, or packaging and have a read of it, or a bottle of wine and see what's what. So not sure, but we'll see. Well, that's all for this week, folks. Catch me on my Supermarket Sleuth or checkout pages on Facebook, on the Supermarket Sleuth channel on YouTube, which is where I am now, or listen to me live on a Saturday morning New Zealand time at 10:45 on Weekend Life. You'll have to check what time it is in your country. Just visit magic.co.nz and click on the orange talk lozenges at the top of the page to hear the programme live. And that's it for this week, folks. I hope you have a good week, and I'll be back here next week. And as I said, let's have a chat about private label. Now, if you'd like to comment upon private label or own brand, or whatever you like to call it, please email me, supermarketsleuth@gmail.com, and tell me your thoughts or ask me some questions, and I will answer them here next week. Bye for now.